they know anecdotally that they have a problem, but the hotels aren't able to quantify it in any way. Why don't you take a couple seconds and talk about the tools that we have? Because when we talk to the hotels that are out there and they see the tools, they're blown away that the analytics that we bring without ever doing a truck roll. But can you talk about that?
So we have a tool called Denseware. Denseware, what we've done is we've taken trillions of data points, crowdsourced data points across the US. We're able to show for every single building what the coverage looks like across all three carriers. And we just, it's a classic red, yellow, green. Red's bad, green's good, and we can show, we go to every customer and we say, look, let's look at this building we're in right now. Let's look what it looks like on T-Mobile, let's look at AT&T and Verizon, and sometimes they say, but I haven't heard any issues. Okay, but that is what you're hearing from somebody that you might talk to. The reality is, this is what the grand group experiences, whether or not they're saying anything, and it's really changing the dynamic. People say, hold on, so you mean I could give you my portfolio, you could say, I could send you the list, and you could give me a list of which ones are good and bad. And here's the reality. Most buildings are fine and don't need any help. We're not here trying to say, hey, you need to install this across all our buildings. No, that's not the case. And we're also not here to say, we're going to replace repeaters or anything else. Every technology exists for a reason. Most buildings are just fine. What we are able to do is take a portfolio and say, but this subset here, you've got serious issues.
We've done, right now in the hospitality industry, we've probably looked at probably between 8 to 15,000 hotels of some form that so far we've ran through our tools and looked at. That's an extreme amount. A lot of hotels may not always need the whole hotel. They may have part of it.
Yeah, that's true too.
Many hotels we see in New York, they may be above the radio lines, and so the top 20 stories of the building, or their basements, or they have a large convention space. And so a lot of these are different discussions, and every property is unique.
That it is another differentiator when it comes to our technology, which wasn't available with DAS. We can build partial buildings, common areas, parking garages, conference spaces, down one wing where we know it's awful, the other wing is just fine. Okay, let's just do a partial building. Something that just wasn't available, with the DAS technologies. And the other option is you can look just outside the building. So whether, in the hospitality, we're also, those developments are a perfect example, because that could be a 10-acre development.
Right.
With a bunch of different buildings spread out. And because those developments often come from an environment of, they used to be industrial, they had different uses, seldom are there cell towers anywhere near them. So there's pretty regularly quite poor coverage in those spaces, and even worse inside those buildings. But just outside those buildings, we're able to do near outdoor. So there's, covering the green spaces, covering the seating areas, the outdoor restaurant patios, all those can get covered by our radios as well, and enhances that experience for if it's required.
We also, if we can look at a ground before it's even built. And so we can kind of give them a heads up. And we've worked with many a property where we can say, hey, here's what it's looking today, and hey, it's kind of yellow-orange already. When you get ready to drop in a hotel that's going to bring in X amount of traffic, you really need to be thinking about that on the front end of construction.
It's when, honestly, it's when the budgets make it work a lot easier. You're able to capitalize it. Because of our strong financial backing, we're able to do either a fully OPEX type model, or allow the owners to put a lot of their CapEx to work. And in the environment with brand new builds, people are generally saying, look, I have capital available, I have budgets assigned to this of X millions of dollars. I'd like to just pay as much as possible up front, and would say, absolutely, let's do it. That works for us.